Prime Woman on the Nigerian Television Authority, the show that brings all the women who have chosen to trail the blaze in society. Today on Prime Woman, we have one of those women who have defied the odds and chosen to break the glass ceiling. Watch out as I roll out this amazing woman and you get to see more of her. A legal luminary, an influencer, an authority, a philanthropist. I don't know how you are able to wrap all of that in one and still have your head sitting on your neck. Welcome to Prime Woman. And we want to know how you were able to weave through these paths.
It's an honor to be here.
There is something that has never happened in the history of existence that just happened, and it happened around you. Mm-hmm. How did you get to clinch this ticket of being the first Nigerian Chief Executive Officer of Women for Women?
So I didn't even know that it would be a first of all. So it's actually the first Nigerian, the first African, the first Black person, all in one. But I had no idea that that was happening. I was headhunted for the role. And as I went through the interview process, even though I knew the organization by reputation, I did not know the extent of its work and the deep impact the organization has made across the world. And it was only through the interview process that I researched the organization. I must say an 8-step interview process. And then when I got the role, I was told that by somebody who followed me on LinkedIn. So that's even very strange because even I think for the organization, maybe it didn't register that I was not only the first Black person, I was the first African, and obviously because of that, I'm the first Nigerian to be in the role as international CEO. I started my career in international peace and conflict, working in conflict zones. So my background suits the work of Women for Women International. And then I went into philanthropy, and then I went into entrepreneurship. But they're not disconnected because they all lead to each other. And in all of the roles that I've had, I've always invested in women. I come from a family, 7 girls and 3 boys. And so because my dad had so many girls, he really invested in his daughters, like all of my sisters. I always say that I am the least accomplished in my family because all of my sisters are high achievers. But that was because we really had a father who, obviously because he had so many girls, he was so intense that we knew that we could do anything. And when I look at my family now, I see that that was very, very deliberate of him. And so when I went into the world and studied and grew and lived most of my life in the UK, I realized that women are often marginalized. And going into my career, like I started international development, like I said, working in conflict zones, I saw that when societies are being rebuilt, women are the ones who are sidelined, even though they were integral to peace or even though they were integral to keeping the communities together. And because I started as a lawyer, first studying law, I felt that that was such an injustice. And so I was going to do everything as I built my career to make sure that women had, equitable access to resources, the voices of women were heard. I've not always only worked for women. I've led organizations that were women and men, but I was very intentional in all my leadership roles to make sure that I provided opportunities for younger women. Every organization I've worked in, I've either had a mentorship program for young women or I create internships for young women because I know that they don't have to all go through what I went through. They can actually chart a path that is easier And that's if they have the opportunities to do.
Going this path, the work of Women for Women is basically centered around war-torn areas and the rural parts, you know, the hinters. How far do you think you want to reach with it?
Well, obviously coming to an organization that has been in existence for 32 years, there's a lot of history, a very good legacy set up, but there are also things that the organization can do in this age, do differently. And so obviously as a leader, you come in looking at what is it that you can build on, but also what new areas can you take the organization to? And that's what is exciting. That's what keeps me working long hours, because I see the potential of building on what has been done. And obviously we currently work in a number of countries. So also looking at how we can support our country offices, form new partnerships, new relationships. It's always a tall order when you're the CEO. I've done it before. I've been the CEO of multiple offices with multiple countries, but this is different in the sense that I'm a CEO of an organization that has been in existence for a really long time.
You were talking about parents, your parents, and you were particular about your dad. What about your mom? I know that it is said that daughters and fathers are best friends, but when you have like 7 of them.
Well, I hated my big family when I was younger. I hated it. I didn't have a room to myself. My sisters were everywhere, but I love it now because my sisters are my friends. My mother, I always say that it was only after I grew up that I got a really healthy respect for my mother, because like you said, daughters love their fathers. But when I grew up, I realized that my mother is such an amazing human being, because it takes a lot to raise that many children. And she went back after all her children for a PhD. So that's all my life. I thought my father was the intelligent one. But then after I lost my dad, I realized that my mother is so brilliant. And she got a PhD and she didn't blink. And she came out top of her class, you know. So I have a very healthy respect for my mother. She's a quiet strength in my family. Like, we all lean on her, every single person. But I think that is also a story that we often don't tell, that we are products of people who invested in us for a very young age. And it sometimes, especially women in the workplace, we act as if we just appeared.
I know, right? Stress on that fact.
Yes. Oh, there's no doubt that I'm daddy's girl. But I was very shocked when he passed. I realized that all my sisters also felt they were daddy's girls. So I felt very betrayed, because I felt like
know, right?
He made everybody feel special. But my mom is, there's no doubt. But I also, just going into workplace, I think it's important to also say that my career, I was very young when I got my first CEO job. And I was shaped by...
At what age?
I think I was 27. So, yes. So I was shaped by both men and women. So I don't want to make it seem like men don't play a role. My first extremely good boss was a man. And he taught me how to write.
Who is that?
I don't know if I can say his name, because he's a very important figure now. Oh, okay. So I want to give him that respect. But he is somebody that even till today would reach out to me and say, I'm so proud of you. And so I think when women are talking about their careers, we should also honor and highlight the men that played roles in our lives, because you can't, as you build your career, you can't promote yourself. You know, you can't recommend yourself. People do that for you. And I've had both men and women do that for me.
Going through college, high school, what would you say are the touch points that actually formed you and gave you that kick, you know, to launch for what you are doing now?
Maybe I'm somewhat of a different story in that sense. I was very stubborn as a teenager. Very stubborn. Yes, I was. I was very stubborn. I used to fail. So that was something that a lot of people find shocking. I didn't used to do well at all because I hated math. And I remember one time I came last I came third to the last. You know how they don't do it anymore.
Yes.
Now they give you badges and colors, Then if you came last, you came last. And so I was third to the last. And I went home and my mom said, when people ask you, when people ask you what you came, say you came third. It's not a lie. You came third from the last.
Behind.
Yeah.
That's what they say, I came third from behind.
I have never forgotten that. But it was just that I hated the subjects I was doing. I hated math, I hated physics, I hated chemistry.
Oh, wow, anything calculation.
Yes, and my father.
Well, they're just like me anyways, so
Yes.
that makes the two of us.
Yes, and my father would always say, leave her. When she finds what she enjoys, she would do well. And once I found literature, English, government, it was a complete turnaround.
Prime Woman is a program that seeks to encourage and strengthen other women and young girls, to find their path. And you have come this far, So I needed that background for people to understand that you didn't just sprout to where you are. There was a path. Now, Women for Women have their roles in the hinterlands, and for Nigeria, you have come home. And what message did you bring home, and what message are you taking from home and out?
Well, I think it's symbolic that my first official visit is to Nigeria. I also think I'm glad that it was my first, because we do have a Nigeria office that is turning 25 next year in Nigeria. So we've been in Nigeria for a really long time. And our office works in conflict zones across the country. To date, we have impacted the lives of over 100,000 women. And the way that Women for Women International works is that we stay with women for the long term. We invest in their lives. We provide them savings. We help them with, training, different areas, different skills. And then at the end of it, we believe that we position them to thrive. And the program that does this is called Stronger Women, Stronger Nations. And we've done this in other countries, but in Nigeria, we've done this for 25 years. I'm in Nigeria because we were collaborating with the Federal Ministry for Women's Affairs, a really successful program, and we believe it's the first of its kind.
Yeah, in that collaboration, there were a lot of quick wins, and I would like to know which one of those quick wins would you really build on right immediately?
That's an excellent question. I think for us, what was a win is that more people know about our work. We were able to showcase some of the beneficiaries of our work, but also you cannot do this work alone. You need partners. And so we were able to start the process of establishing partnerships. It's not a one-day job. We're going to come back. The office is here. I will certainly come back. And we also believe that the press is important in telling the story. That's why I'm talking to you today.
Yes, I know. Yeah. Okay. So you have been in Nigeria for more than 20 years, 25 years running, actually. And there's work going on. How much of this work would you want to go further with? And we look at most of the work centered around the northern part of the country. What's the plan for the southern part of the country?
These are excellent questions. So we work in the middle belt, including Kaduna. We've gone to Kaduna, but we also have work in Cross River. And 25 years after we've done this work, we know we want to scale. But we want to scale vertically and horizontally as well, right? We want to build new partnerships. This is the first time that we're forging a relationship with the Ministry for Women's Affairs. So we're interested in multi-sectorial partnerships. We're also interested in policy advocacy. We are the ones who can give the government information on how women suffer in conflict zones.
How did you know I was going to ask you that question? The collaborative effort that you are making with government, given the pivotal role that this amazing organization is playing and has played for over 30 years, in the world. So how are you seeking to collaborate with the Nigerian nation, especially to give succor to women who have been war-torn, lost their spouses, lost children, and broken?
So, in Africa, the government is still the biggest client. If you want to scale, if you want to affect systems change, you have to interact with the government.
Absolutely.
And at local level, regional level, federal level, you have to interact with the government. And we are very aware of that. In fact, our offices in other parts of the world, for example, in Iraq, they work very closely with the government, because if you want change to last, certain things need to change, whether it's policy, whether it's the way that the government works, whether it's information. Data collection is very important. A lot of things happen because people don't even know the correct information, right? So we are able to provide the government with the right information. We've invested heavily in monitoring and evaluation so that when you see us talking figures, it's correct, right? And these are the things that the government doesn't need to do it itself. We can do all of these things, and through the partnership, get it to the government, and then the government has the right tools to make decisions. This is the way forward. You can see that the most functional states globally are states that have a way that the government works with civil society and the private sector, right? So the private sector is another arm in Nigeria that we're going to build relationships with. But for us, it's not optional. The question is how we do it. And yesterday we started that.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm glad that it is happening. And I'm glad that it is a Nigerian who is driving it in Nigeria. Now, to other arms of this work that you are doing, Stronger Women, Stronger Nation. Now, how are you collaborating or partnering with other women organizations, in order to foster a stronger force to drive this dream?
I mean, there are different ways to collaborate. There's collaboration so that we can raise funding together. There's collaboration to organize events. There's collaboration. So it's different forms of collaboration. The main thing is, do we share the same values, right? Do we believe in the integrity of women? Do we believe in the possibilities that women have? Those are the things. I mean, and it will be on a case-by-case basis, right? So when we find the right partner and we can bring resources together so that we are not depleting our own resources or we're not overlapping, then it makes sense to say, how can we work together? And that takes shape. It already happens, and it's different across the world. So there's no set formula on how we do it.
Being a woman of substance, how do you go through balancing the home front and the work that you do? Because you've been chief executive of several organizations. You've been in philanthropy for the longest, empowering people, encouraging people through your different organizations. So how do you balance home and work?
Well, a lot of people don't know that part of me, and that's the way it should be. I play a lot. I like to play, and I play with my husband. So he's my playmate, and I have...
You must be best friends.
Yes, we've been friends since we were 9 years old.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, so we went to the same primary school. So we have a very, very good relationship, but also a relationship that understands that I'm doing what I was born to do. This is my purpose. God created me to do this. And I'm happy that I have a husband, because that's not what a lot of women have. I have a husband who is... He told me to take this job, for example.
Oh, yes. Wow, he did?
Yes. So I have a husband
Does he realize how much you're going to be away from home?
Well, I was always traveling, right? So he's very supportive, and he likes me shining.
Yeah, take it away. Take it away.
And so that does help. And so when I speak to younger women, I talked about it today with a colleague of mine, I say, love is not enough. Please don't marry only for love. Make sure you marry for somebody who is invested in you, somebody who is your cheerleader, but it also has to be the other way around. I think my husband is the best husband on earth, and I'm his cheerleader as well. So that you know, I never want younger women to think you can't have a happy home and a successful career. You may not have everything at the same time, and it requires a lot of negotiations, but you can have it.
Now, in your work, we say women. What brackets of age, defines what you call women who are qualified to belong to Women for Women?
Perfect question. We're not ageist at all. We're not ageist at all. We have an adolescent girls program, but we also have a program that covers the spectrum of women. And you would find that in different places. So when I tell you we have an office in Palestine, for example, you can imagine that we're working with women in the heat of the conflict. We have a partner program in Syria. You can imagine what that is like. We have a program in South Sudan. So these are places that women are going through conflict, very difficult situations. And my own personal mantra is when everybody leaves, Women for Women stays.
Awesome.
Yes.
When everybody leaves, Women for Women stays.
Yes,
and that's why
there.
you are staying with us today in NTA
Yes.
to talk about
Yes.
what you are doing. I come to you and Nigeria. What's the plan? What's the project for this amazing nation going through a very peculiar time?
Yes. We want to scale our work in Nigeria unapologetically. We want more partners. We want to work in different ways. We want to work with the private sector. We don't believe that right now a lot of our funding comes from the West. But I personally have seen, because I've worked in philanthropy here, I know that there are local people who are committed to advancing this country. You don't really get to hear about them internationally, but I've worked with them here in Nigeria. And so we want to explore those relationships of local opportunities. There's nothing like Nigerian resources solving Nigerian problems, and we want to make sure we open those doors. We want to work with the press.
Awesome. So we're here.
Yes, we want to work with the press to get the word out, because the work that we do is phenomenal.
The Sholankers would definitely be proud of you, I know, and what you're doing. So talking about being proud of you, you have told us that your husband is very supportive. Do you want to, kind of give us just a sneak peek into what he does, particularly to encourage you?
Oh my God! Your show is not long enough. But I mean, he's like, my husband prays for me, for example, before I go on any trip. He reads everything. Like, he would go on, if I post something on LinkedIn, he'll go and he'll read it and he'll say, that was a good post, or I think you should have said this. So he's also my very constructive critic, and he's possibly the only one that can really do that without me questioning it, because I am stubborn, and
well, I don't think I want to use the word stubborn. I think I'd like to use the word firm.
I think stubborn in the way that I know my own mind.
Kind of.
Yeah, I think women shouldn't be afraid to say they know their own mind. We're not babies, right?
Yeah, we're not babies,
yes.
But
yes.
Because stubborn actually is usually looked at and interpreted in the negative.
Only when it's used for women. When it's used for a man, it's not. So these are some of the gender politics.
So are you ready to give this?
I am stubborn. If I have my eyes set on something, I will do it. And that's how I've gone with my career. And I also think that I tell younger women that know your own mind. Because when you know your own mind, you're not easily swayed. So
talk to me about your children and the work that you're doing. Mm-hmm. Is there any one of them who is interested in towing this path?
Two of them want to be football players. I don't understand. Because
male and female, or female and male?
Male and female, yes.
Want to be football players?
Yes, they do.
That's a nice one. Yeah, don't you think so?
Well, if they're successful and, but I don't
But
believe
why would they be successful? They will be successful.
Yes, so if they're good and they play for Man U, I'm fine. My husband is an Arsenal fan.
Man U, did you say? Mm-hmm. Oh, not Chelsea?
Never.
Oh, goodness.
One of our children is a Chelsea fan.
What is their take with your work, and how are they fitting into what you're doing?
Well, they like that I travel. I bring gifts from everywhere that I go. So at that, right now, that's the joy. But yeah, I think, it's interesting to educate them about the world because that's the nature of my work. I try to talk about the world that we live in, and they live in the UK. So there's all of that. What does it mean now to be who you are in this environment? I really believe in, and this is not just our kids, we have lots of nieces and nephews. We really believe in confidence building. In this age, confident children are very important. So
Absolutely. Thank you so very much. It's been so wonderful talking with you. And I'd like for you to give a word, just, a giving word.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be home, great to be in Nigeria. I've had such a warm reception everywhere I've gone. Like I said, I didn't take this job thinking I was the first anything, but now that I know that I'm the first, I'm doing it with a sense of responsibility. And we're looking for, we have a lot of partners, Women for Women International, and we're open to a lot more partners. And so if you would want to find out about our work, you want to find out if you're going to work with us or work for us, please go to womenforwomen.org. And we look forward to collaborating with you in any way.
My name is Uju Mwakalo. See you.